Good evening, friends, followers and channel members. Welcome to the first live stream in, well, it's been over a week, so let's see if we can remember how to do this. Sorry for the rather elongated start there. Just as I got set up to go and we went live and things, my first officer made a dash for it, which was the back door. The back doors were open because it's so warm, and yeah, off he shot, so we've had to tie him back down to the aircraft. So sorry about that. First Officer George will be reprimanded a little bit later on. Oh, so great to have so many of you coming on board nice and early. We're in Milan tonight. As you can see, the sun has just set over the Alps, so that's quite a nice view, isn't it? And not a cloud in the sky. I'm presuming real world weather is working absolutely fine, because I'm not sure about you, but it's been like this over England for us for about the last 2 or 3 days. It really is scorching, set to get even warmer here at the weekend. So let's hope the old GPU can hold out with the temperatures. Right, who have we got coming on board this evening? Let's see. So, welcome on board Christian, Drini, Alfie, Klaus, Jez Davis. I hope the aircraft's functional. Or do you mean air conditioning? In which case the air conditioning is not functional. It's blooming warm. Hey Nick, good to have you on board as always. Red Thread, Danny, Fabrice, Dan Skelton, Jason Bushell as well, Lazarus, and Dark Fury. Wally, good afternoon to you as well. Oh, goodness me, I thought that was lightning. It's not. That would have been a rather big sin bug, wouldn't it, considering there's no clouds in the sky? No, someone's just put a penny in the meter and lit things up. Air Marshal 5, hello. Andrew Wilson, Ace Airstream, good evening, joining just south of Grenoble. Oh, that sounds lovely, particularly with the weather that we're having at the moment as well. Frank WG, hello. And Digital Flight Deck is in the UK, normally in Canada, but Digital, you're on our time. Oh, I bet that's really nice where you are as well, up in Scotland. It shouldn't be too hot, I'm guessing, just outside of Inverness, and still quite bright as well. I would have thought. I don't think you're going to get complete darkness come midnight. So, apologies if I have missed anyone out. DC Gert, Julian, Ashley L, Drini and John Pibex, hello, and Barry Bartson, good evening as well. Barweld, good evening. Right, we need to get on board. Operational flight plan is in the chat if you're watching on YouTube, pinned as always, and then we'll have a look at that and we'll get ourselves set up. We are on VATSIM, of course, as always, so I think we've even got some ATC knocking around as well, so we should have quite a realistic flight out this evening. We're headed to Luxembourg. Now, I think I may have only done Luxembourg once before, but this is a real world Easyjet flight, so Luxembourg has clearly been neglected. It's time to put that right and have a look at getting there. Shouldn't be too troubling an approach, but let's see how we get on. So our aircraft, of course, is in a turnaround state for this time of night. We're going to get our fuel loaded. We'll start getting the passengers loaded as well. What's the temperature? 30 degrees. We need to get that APU on and start cooling the cabin down before we start letting people on board. So let's go and have a look at the operational flight plan then for our flight tonight. Just get this synced up. Dr. Magic, you left VATSIM ATC for, oh sorry, ATC, you left VATSIM for 5 minutes earlier to get an ice cream. I do not blame them. It's absolutely roasting. Alan, welcome to the First Officers Club. Alan, thank you so much for your support of the channel. Make sure you get yourselves into the members lounge as well if you're on our Discord server. Very kind of you to support us. Thank you for coming on board this evening. So yeah, here's the operational flight plan. We can see it's should be fairly straightforward tonight. Payload just under 15 tons. Call sign Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha. Cost index of 4. Flight level 340. We get a headwind tonight. Shear rate is pretty much non-existent really. We're expecting 35 right. Coming in on 06. And fuel of around 5.3 tons. Let's have a look and see what we've got en route. Now this is the first thing, of course. We know that we're near the Alps, so instantly the Mora jumps up pretty quickly once we get to the waypoint Augusta. And Jason Bushell, welcome yourself to the First Officers Club as well. Jason, 2 new members in the first few minutes of our stream tonight. Thank you so much, guys. Really do appreciate that. And as always, get yourself into our members lounge in the Discord server if you're on there. So yeah, just having a quick look at this. So this is sort of like 12 minutes into our flight time, and we remain with those high moors for about 15 minutes or so. So just worth bringing to our attention in case anything went wrong depressurization wise. We know we can't just head straight down to 10,000 feet because well, there would be things beneath us that we may hit. Look at the weather though. I mean, not just at our departure and our arrival, but even the alternates. Are there any clouds in any skies over Europe at the moment? Actually, there are. There have been some clouds out over to Eastern Europe tonight, but we're not there. Barry's been a member for 13 months. Jeez, you were in Luxembourg this morning. Really, Barry? That was serendipitous, wasn't it? Thanks for your support, mate, over the last 13 months. Do appreciate that, of course. Right, let's just continue looking through. Yeah, so weather is just beautiful, warm, but beautiful. And if we have a look at the forecast as well, we can see Cav OK. That's the forecast basically. Wind 0908 in Luxembourg. So I would imagine runway 6 is still going to be continue to be used. And if we have a look at the SIGMAT charts, there's nothing there. There isn't even any embedded cumulonimbus clouds or anything. Clear skies, clear sailing over the Alps tonight. So that begs the question then: what fuel do we take? Well, it's warm, but we're not going to use any de-icing or anything like that. We're going to have the APU on for longer than normal, just because of COVID and things. 5.5 tons. I should see us right, I think. No real reason to worry about that. So yeah, let's go tell the ground crew we want 5.5 tons. DC Gert, thank you for your membership over the last 9 months, DC. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Right, what did I say? 5.5 tons. Let's go ahead and set that up. If these sliders would work, that would be lovely. Now, do you remember me, do you remember me telling you that one of my monitors was dodgy and it just kept cutting out? Well, it's just cut out again. Thankfully, it's not the monitor with the sim on, so I can continue. It just means I've lost the chat window for a couple of minutes, so I apologise for that. Right, 158 passengers. Let's go ahead. Start loading the aircraft in a little bit. Let's get those packs on and the APU running because yeah, it's sweltering, isn't it? So, just confirming whilst we're doing that, of course, aircraft is in the turnaround state. Everything is fine and dandy. Fuel pumps are off, packs are off. Let's just come down and check down here. We've got switching panel is all fine, stuff like that. Why are the engine masters there? That's not right. There we go. Parking brake is obviously set. Squawking 2000 and just reset the timer. There we go. Lovely, and our initial climb I think today's going to be 6,000. So we'll go ahead and start setting up the box in a moment. So let the APU run, get the APU bleed on, and then we'll start getting the passengers on board. Alright, so onto our data page, we've got 3 nav green. Aircraft status. Oh, the AirX cycle will need updating after tomorrow, so that's worth remembering for those of you that use Navigraph and want it to be accurate. Okay, let's do our ACARS init request. There we go. So our flight number tonight is Easyjet Europe, and it is 31 Whiskey Alpha, and the alternate is Brussels. Digital, thank you for your membership over the last 17 months. Wow, 13 months doesn't seem any longer than 395 days. I hope you're having a great time in the UK, Digital, and it's been good for you so far. 17 months, yeah, Digital, 17 months. Time for another drink. Are you drinking Scotch whiskey? I mean, you're in Inverness or close. That would be the obvious choice, wouldn't it? Let's just continue to set up. So we've got a cost index of 4, and what was that flight level? It's flight level 340. Temperature is -44. Tropo is 45,027. Update that ground temperature as well. Right, get the wind sorted. APU bleed is on. Barry, let's hope for the alternate. Nah. Christian, you thought I was going to borrow, in inverted commas, the monitor from my wife. Yeah, well, she uses it a lot. I think she'd notice. Plus, she's been in here and seen my monitor conk out, so I think if hers started conking out, I suspect she'd suspect foul play. Probably not going to get away with that, sadly. Right, where are we? We are... I need the coordinates for our position here. We're at stand 109. So the coordinates for that, just bring this across, is 45.38.7 north and 8.43.4 east. Good enough. Right. Onto the flight plan. We're going to expect 3-5 right this evening, and then we're on the Dugat 6 Tango, and that's with the 5 whiskey, EOS to 5 whiskey transition, as we have here in Italy. And then, as I said, we're expecting the ILS runway 6 on the give her, is it the 2 Sierra, something like that? 1 Sierra, sorry, 1 Sierra. And the veer for that is going to be, quick look, Christian, is there any Malpensa scene right now? I don't think there is. I've searched and I can't find any. So we've got an initial fix there of LX06. If we can find that. That's interesting. Okay, let's have another little look. So we come in on the Golf Tango Quebec 1 Sierra. That takes us up to ECOS. Is it the ECOS 2 Delta? I may have to have a quick look and see if we've got any other information on these charts, because they're not that clear. We've got RNAV transitions. Let me find the correct one. There it is. It is the ECOS 2 Delta. I've not got that chart pinned, but that's what we want. ECOS 2 Delta. And then that gives us a distance of 343, flight plans 318. Quickly cycle through that, make sure it looks correct. Yep, there we go. Right, so we're happy with the flight plan. Into the RadNav page, we are going to pop in the Mike Papa in there. And I just want a distance from that, so let's get those turned on. In fact, I'm also going to hard tune the Sierra Romeo November, because I need that for the engine out. And I don't want that to change to something else, just in case we need to fly on raw data for whatever reason. There we go. Right, onto the init B. APU is up and running. Let's get those on. Let's turn this down. What temperature should we go for? I'd be quite happy with about 10 degrees, I think. Let's get you guys boarded, shall we?
Cabin crew, we're all happy with how things are up here, so now open the door subsequently our passengers on board. Thank you. No problem.
Right, there we go. Boarding is underway, and of course refueling is as well. Let's just double check refueling is going. There we are. Alan says making it look so easy. You sit in the cockpit, look around, think about all the passengers, then leave the cockpit. Love the tutorials. 0% annoying to sit through. Oh, thank you, Alan. Thank you for that. It's just practice, Alan. Alright, keep at it. Keep at it. The more you do it, it becomes second nature. Although that can also be a dangerous thing as well, because it's very easy to forget things when it becomes very, very familiar. Right, the zero fuel weight and zero fuel weight CFG. Have we got any load sheet of any kind at the moment? Looks like we have not. So we'll use our OFP. So the zero fuel weight on the OFP is 58.9. I'll just chuck the standard 30% in there at the moment. Fuel for our alternate tonight, which Barry's hoping for, we'll go 1.4. Winds are in. Fuel planning, please be less than 5.5 tons. 5.4, fair enough. Alright, that's fine. Takeoff weight then is 64.2. Onto the performance page, which obviously we can't do until we've got some paperwork from the ground crew. Well, let's take this opportunity then, shall we, to start doing a brief. So before we go any further, I'm going to double check the latest METAR and an ATIS. So Malpensa, and I'll just update that in case it's an old one. No, that's current. Runway in use, 35 right, 35 left, transition level 7, wind is 230 degrees at 8. So very slight tailwind, but not out of the limitations of the aircraft cab. Okay, temperature 30, QNH 1018, and that's information Oscar. So the weather then here, obviously at Milan, it's gorgeous, warm and gorgeous. The aircraft is the A320 Fenix A320, fully serviceable with the exception of weather radar. Don't think we would have needed that tonight anyway. And the performance of the aircraft, it doesn't burn quite as much fuel as it should, so the performance of the aircraft is very good. No times that are going to affect us tonight, and the threats are mainly terrain. We've got terrain to the north, we've got terrain to the west, we've got terrain a little bit as well to the east, so if anything starts to go really wrong, we need to utmost make sure we're headed in a southerly direction. Let's just say we lost absolutely everything and we just had a standby compass. We need to fly south before we come too close to terrain. Not too much traffic on the ground here in Milan this evening. We're fairly familiar with this airport, so I'm quite happy with it. ATC is online, so we'll obviously have to communicate with them. No need for anti-ice or anything like that, of course. Just be aware of it is warm. I've already started turning those down, though. Temperature will obviously start to drop, I would imagine, as the evening goes on. One other little threat, just because I have I've had a week off, then it's me that could potentially be the biggest threat to the aircraft tonight, because I'm rusty. HD says, good evening, HD. Yeah, if we've just got the standby compass, that is bad news. Well, if we've got engines and we can control stuff as well, but say we lost all electronics. Right, let's talk about the taxi and what we're expecting. Bring the charts up. So where did I say we were? Stand 109. The cheap stands. Yeah, stand 109, so I'm going to push back I don't know which way he's going to have us face, maybe west or east, and then most likely taxi down via Charlie, straight out Charlie, and then we'll look for a full-length departure, which is Charlie Alpha, onto the SID. And as we can see, this is the one that we're going to be following, the Dog Up 6 Tango. We have a maximum speed of 220 knots at Mike Charlie 613. So let's quickly have a quick look at what we've got. So we can fly clean at 214. Let's go ahead and pre-select 214. There we go, so that's sorted. And then we can push the accelerator away once we've passed 613. So our first turn will be slightly out to the right, and then our left turn at 604 following the SID. Autopilot will obviously be on nice and early for this. Initial climb, I think, is going to be 6,000. We've already got that set. Let's talk about the emergency brief then. We'll look at setting up a secondary flight plan, which I have forgotten to do. So this is actually interesting, because I'm glad HT is here for this, because this isn't a straightforward secondary flight plan to set up. So let me just copy the active and I'll show you what I mean. So this is a non-standard engine out procedure at this point, because obviously, as I mentioned, we've got terrain. Something else I'll just bring into our brief as well. Our initial MSA on departure is 6,000 feet, but then if I just bring that map up, 6,000 feet, but then it actually changes at 10 miles from our airport. It increases, of course, to 10,300 feet, which is kind of round about where Dog Up is. So yeah, as I was saying, with the missed approach. Sorry, not the missed approach, the engine out procedure. So it's a non-standard engine out procedure just here. So let me just bring that up, because I've not got it on my second screen. So the non-standard engine out procedure for runway 35 right is at 8 miles from Malpensa DME. We're going to make a right turn heading 120, at which point then we're going to intercept and follow the SNR radial 330 to the the SRN radial 330 to Sierra Romeo November VOR holding point, and we'll enter the hold there. I can perhaps show you a little bit more what I mean if I just bring up the right chart. There it is. So it looks a little bit like this. We basically fly straight out, but then we intercept a 330 radial to Sierra Romeo November. Now, this is the point where normally I'd be quite happy to pop in a waypoint and then pop in another waypoint, and it flies it to it. We've got to kind of input a radial at this point. Now, I don't believe there's a way to accurately program that, so we kind of need to, well, there's a couple of ways I could do this. We could do this the old-fashioned way, where I kind of use the fixers page, draw a radial out from Sierra Romeo November, and I tell you what, my screen's gone again, so I've lost the chat if HT is adding words of wisdom. So until that comes back, it'll come back in a second. If I just pop on here, oh, there we go, Sierra Romeo and November. If I just pop that in there and enter that radial, which is 330, there, that is the radial that I want to fly. So we would take off. If anything went bang, we'd then get to 8 miles from Malpensa, and then turn heading 120, and then we'll fly inbound on this radial to here. Now, to be able to actually put that into the secondary flight plan, I would be a little bit at a loss as to how we would go and enter that. We can quite easily go and pop 8 miles in from Malpensa, that bit is fairly easy. So if I just go back onto the ARC page so we can see what we're doing, I'd be quite happy to follow everything out. But if we go to, what's that that second waypoint there? Can't see. Let me bring the chart up a bit easier on here. So if we enter the first waypoint, which is 8 miles from the Malpensa VOR, what is our runway track? It's 346. So Mike Papa 346 and 8 miles. So there's our first waypoint. I've not called it the engine out SID, we'll just call it as it is. So there we go, that's 8 miles. At this point we're going to make the right hand turn then to a heading of 120, which will be down here, then to intercept this just here. So at this point I'm going to hand the floor over to HD, and he's going to let us know how we program in the right hand turn at 120 to intercept this radial. So now use the radial parts of the waypoints. So we can create a waypoint called right. Can we just pop that in because it won't have a name, will it? Right. This is going to be tricky because HD is about 30 seconds behind me. So if I pop that in here, is there actually a waypoint called right? Apparently there is. Okay, let me clear that out. I need another name. Nope, that's not going to work either. All the waypoint names have been taken up. Okay. Engine out, right. There we go. There we go. Okay, so where are we going to pop this? Are we going to place it off this PBD01, aren't we? And the bearing is going to be 120. And then how far out? Do we need to guesstimate? I'm going to wait for HD to give us a value. Oh, we've got the place bearing Ah, right, okay, so we've got place bearing distance 01. Sorry, 120. We need to use the dash. Do you know what? I often wonder what the dash was for instead of a minus. There we go. So we're going to fly that, bearing 120, to Sierra Romeo November 330. And store that. Hope we can remember the name of it now. Oh, look at this. And that then takes us, presumably, we can then enter the Sierra Romeo November and enter the hold. Wow, I think we've all learned something tonight. So what was that inbound course for this? It's 330. Oh, sorry, 125 right turns. There we go. And then from here back to Limp. It'll be the ILS 35 left. Is there a Zulu that I've missed? ILS Yankee. ILS 35 left Zulu. There we go. Any veers? No veers. There we are. Wow, well, we normally learn something on every flight, but that is one issue that I'd been having for a while. If you've got a straight out engine out procedure, then it's easy to set up. That place to that place done. When you've got to start intercepting radials and things like that, well, now we know how we can do it. That is brilliant. Digital says, wow, unfortunately it'll be forgotten by the time I've taken off. Is that a little bit wrong? So the engine out right turn has gone past Sierra Romeo November. I think that might be a Phoenix thing, because we've got that set up correctly. Did I put the hold in there? Because the hold's not showing. There it is. Oh, I wouldn't want to fly that manually. Christian, this is indeed so much easier. Now we know what we've done, but now we know how to do it. Wonderful. Well, that was in depth, but good fun. There's a whole tutorial video on its own for this procedure. What we could have done as well was enter the place bearing distance 01. Right, and then yeah, okay, so basically we just fly right rather than trying to intercept on that 120 heading, presuming there's no terrain that we're going to smack into. Yeah, we could have perhaps simplified it a little bit, but I'm quite happy with that, because that is a lot easier than having to sort of manually fly this with fixers and VORs, as Christian has just suggested. So there we go. Engine out procedure is complete in a fashion. Now, where's my blooming load sheet? There it is. Now we've done the tough bit, should we go back to the easy bit? So we've got zero fuel weight of 58.9 planned, and the CFG 31.4. Okay, and 30% bang on for the takeoff weight CFG. So HD, yeah, basically what we've done is create a waypoint that is an intersection between the two radials of two separate waypoints. Imagine me trying to do that in the Boeing. Christian, now we just need the look of having an engine failure after V1. No, we don't. Let's do the perf, shall we? So we're expecting 3-5 right, dry. We'll go flaps 1, toga no, anti-ice packs a little bit off. Takeoff weight was 64.2. Actually, just going to double check that. Yep, 64.2 and 30. Have live weather. Yeah, full length. 394042. Transition altitude 6,000 feet, and the thrust reduction acceleration values here are well, these are quite low, so it should be 2305. And engine out is the same. Flaps 1, and the flex was 67. There we go. Okay, all done with regards to the prelim. We just need the final one. Have I got another company message? We have a telex. Oh, we're getting adverts now for the 757767 large display systems glass cockpit solution. LDS.org if anybody's interested. There we go, bit of free advertising for someone that's hacked the ACARS system. Okay, so all that's left to do is contact ATC in Milan. Now let's have a quick look who we've got on online. I think we've got Milan North. The approach is online, so they're going to be handling us for the departure. 12675. Just check VHF 2. There we go, 12675. Let's give Milan a call. Milan, good evening, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, stand 109, Type A320, requesting FR clearances filed to Luxembourg. We have information, Oscar.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, please delete direct on your flight plan and advise, thank you.
Wilco, standby, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha. Let's have a look at the flight plan. What's he want us to delete? Right, so Simbrief has filed that our first waypoint is the Oyster flight plan. We're actually expecting the Dog Up 6 Tango.
Yeah.
Milan Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, and so we're expecting the Dog Up 6 Tango with the ISTA 5 Whiskey transition in, is that correct? He told us to delete the direct, not quite sure what he meant there, to be honest with you. I just need the SID and star from him. We don't file SIDs and stars.
Radar Italian 0839 requesting startup. You will expect Ibcook 6 Alpha departure and Aosta 7 Yankee transition.
Apologies, that was blocked. Please say again for Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha.
Beluga 379 standby. Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, say again please.
Passengers are on board and we're ready to
Apologies,
go. I'll bring
Alpine
you a cup
31
of
Whiskey
tea
Alpha.
after we
Original
take
transmission was blocked. Please say again for us.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, you expect Ibcook 6 Alpha departure, Aosta 7 Yankee transition, report ready to copy clearance.
Wilco will report ready, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha.
With 4352, taxi to stand.
Right, let's have a look what we're actually doing here. So it's now the 6... Sorry, the Ibcook 7 Alpha transition was that? I may have to get him to type this in case I don't know what this is, because there's that many of them. Let me have a quick look at the departures on here. No, I can't see any that sounded like the one that he said. Let's get him to text it to us. And Alpine 3-1 Whiskey Alpha. Is it possible to have our clearance via text, please?
Roger, stand by.
Thank you. 3-1 Whiskey Alpha.
Station call Indy 4, ready for taxi.
Speedbird 575, stand 515 Linate.
Speedbird 575, startup approved.
We're ready for taxi.
Okay. Speedbird 575, taxi to holding point Tango 1 runway 36 via Bravo in Tango.
Bravo Tango, runway 136. Speedbird 575, thank you.
Oh, it's changing the departure runway as well.
Tarro 0839, gate 18, Linate, requesting startup.
Tarro 0839, startup approved.
Startup approved, 839.
I'm going to ask if we can just request 35 right, if that is the case.
India Bravo 434, report intenzioni dopo Saronno.
India Bravo 434, intercetto VOR Linate su radiale 345.
Negativo, questo non...
I don't want to step on anybody else's toes here with the transmissions. And Alpine 3-1 Whiskey Alpha. Just confirm departure runway for us would be 35 right if possible.
Stand by. India Bravo 434, se le vostre intenzioni sono di atterrare a Linate dovete riportare Rossano.
Yeah, Christian, that's why I'm thinking with 35 left the secondary flight plan is wrong. I don't have to muck about with that.
India Bravo 434, no, volevamo tornare a Malpensa, quindi proseguiamo.
India Bravo 434,
Although it's a lot
in
easier.
caso Parabiaco.
So, just waiting for him to come back to us.
Milano Radar, good evening, Beluga 379, scusate, avevo la radio al minimo, scusate ancora, radio check please.
Beluga 379er, contatti la torre 128350.
128350, Beluga 379, grazie. With Air Force 352, confirmed we have clearance to cross the runway 35 left.
We said
So we're just waiting now.
352, now we have tower 128.350.
Oh, tower's just come online, so that's going to complicate things.
Contact tower 1, contact tower 12.
128.350
with Air Force 352.
And Alpine 3-1 Whiskey Alpha, do you want us to move over to tower 12835?
Stand by.
128 350 with Air Force 352.
Right, okay,
China 3-1
so...
Whiskey Alpha, you have clearance via text.
Clearance received, and do you want us to go over to tower 12835?
Roger, 12835. See you later.
Thank you, Alpine 3-1 Whiskey Alpha. Right, should we talk nicely to
India
tower?
Bravo 434, intenzioni.
India Bravo 434, sono in allontanamento dal VOR di Saronno, non ho capito il VOR da intercettare dopo.
Because the departure that he's given us is Oh, I'm not even sure they marry up. So he's given us the Ibcook 6 Alpha, which is the one we've got here to Ibcook, and then he's given us the
Beluga 379,
transition.
703, we request clearance IFR to Bilbao.
Beluga 379, just to confirm, did you ask to the Milano radar the 35 left for departure?
No, I didn't ask anything.
Oh yeah, so he's given us Ibcook and then up to Aosta, but these are 35 left departures. So
30 seconds.
if we can get 35 right, that would be nice. Tower, good evening. Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha with you. Received our clearance for departure on runway 35 left. Is it possible to get runway 35 right tonight?
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, yes, because 35 right is for departure tonight, so when able, I will give you the clearance, your number 2 in the queue.
Roger, we're able to accept clearance when you're ready. We're expecting Dog Up 6 Tango for the instrument departure, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha.
Beluga 379, ready to copy.
Repeat please, Beluga 379.
Oh, the ATC aren't talking to each other properly tonight, are
Are
they?
you ready to copy?
I'm ready to copy.
Beluga 379, clear destination via Dogwood 6 Tango departure, needed 6
That's the one I
India,
want.
transition, runway 35 right, initial climb 5000, squawk 5416.
Clear to our destination IFR via Dogwood.
I'm going to need extra
Tango,
fuel in a
needed,
minute.
6 India transition. Initial climb 5,000 feet, squawk 5416, Beluga 379.
Beluga 379, read back correct.
Milano, buonasera, French Post 27, Michael November, Stan 610, requesting clearance to Shanghai, please, with information Oscar.
Please give us ours first.
French Post 27, Mike November, on Tessa Chow, your number 2 in the queue.
HC's just...
Alpine 31, Whiskey Alpha,
here we
ready
go.
to recopy the clearance.
Roger. Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, go ahead.
31 Whiskey Alpha, your clear destination, Luxembourg, Dogwood 6 Tango departure, Aosta 5 Whiskey transition, runway 35 right, initial climb 6000, squawk 1000.
Clear departure runway 35 right, Dog Up 6 Tango, transition Aosta 5 Whiskey, initial climb 6000, squawk 1000, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, read back correct. Break with 0352, when able, turn right
6,000.
on Papa, stand 401.
Wonderful. Right, I think we're nearly ready to go. Where's my checklist? Okay, that looks good. Let me just check the ground page as well.
French Post 27, Mike November, Tower, ready to copy? And French Post 27, Mike November, your clear destination via the
Alright,
6
so
Tango departure,
before start
Alpha 5
checklist.
Whiskey transition,
Cockpit preparation
right, initial
is
climb
complete.
6000,
Signs
1000.
on and auto. Adheres 3 knot green. Fuel quantity is 5440 kilograms. Balanced. FMGS is set. Altimeter 1018. 710
French
feet.
Post 27, Mike November, read back correct.
Okay, I think we can get our tug driver into place. That second screen has just disappeared again. Bear with me a sec, guys. Right, let's get the tug connected up.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. My name is Gavin, and I would like to welcome you on board this Easyjet aircraft. We expect a good flight with you today, with no weather problems showing in front of us, so we should be pushing back within the next few minutes or so. For now, the ground crew of the cabin is loading the last of the baggage into the aircraft, so if you can get yourself seated and secured, then we can make sure we can depart on time. The cabin crew will shortly be providing their safety demonstration video, so it would be appreciated if you could give them your full attention. A special welcome on board to our Easyjet pilot members, and if you wish to inquire about the member...
French Post 27 Mike November, disregard was not for you.
Entitled to free drinks.
Roger, thank you. The complete French Post 27 Mike November.
Once we are airborne.
Right, let's get cracking, shall we? Tug driver is connected. We've got the final load sheet. Let's double check and hope we don't have to rerun anything. Takeoff weight 64.0, so that's obviously lower. And we've got what? Takeoff weight of 30.4 for the CFG. Lovely. Tower Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, ready to push stand 109.
And Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, push and stand approved, facing to the west on Greenwich 1019er.
Push approved, facing west, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, QNH 1019er. Right, QNH has just increased. What do we do with the flex? Do we need to add a couple, don't we? No, we need to add one. Seriously, it's been so long. I'll wait for HD to confirm that. Beacon light is on. Standby. Transponder is set to auto. Let's go. Before start checklist below the line, windows and doors closed now, beacon light is on, phone is on silent, parking brake is on. Let's release and let's go, facing west. Oh, thanks HD, yeah, wrong way around. Starting engine 1. Engine 1 start valve fault. Start valve not open. That's interesting. Oh, why is the APU bleed not on? Right. Let's try that again. Fuel pumps are on, aren't they? Yep, APU bleed is on.
Now ask for your attention while we take you through the safety
engine will select
procedures
to
on
ignition.
the aircraft.
Starting engine
A
1.
safety card is in your seat pocket, showing the
There we
exit
go.
routes, oxygen masks, life jackets, and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, 4 in the middle, and 2 at the front of the cabin. Floor
Have we
lights will
just
guide you
boiled
through
our
exit.
passengers
Please
for the
be
last
aware
half
that
an
your
hour?
nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, leave all cabin baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released as shown. It
How
must
long
be
were you
fastened
waiting
when
for
the
that?
seatbelt
I need to
signs
go
are
back and
on,
watch the
and
stream.
we recommend that you keep it fastened at all times. If the air supply fails, masks will drop from above you. Pull a mask towards you to start the oxygen. Put the mask over your nose.
This isn't a great
and
pushback
mouth.
either, is it? Who's
Hold in
behind
place
us?
with the strap. Pull on each side
No
to
one,
adjust.
that's okay.
Put on your own mask before helping others. If we land on water, take the life jacket from under your seat. Put it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist. Click together and pull the strap to adjust. Do not inflate it inside the aircraft. When outside, inflate by pulling the toggle. If it fails to inflate or needs topping up, blow into the tube. There is a light and whistle for attracting attention.
Starting engine 2.
We also carry flotation aids for children. Your tray table must now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open, and seatbelt fastened. We wish you a pleasant flight with Easyjet.
What really makes me chuckle is that no one said anything. We're burning the passengers up in 30 degrees heat and no one said a word. So much for having more than one set of eyes in the cockpit. Right, pushback's completed. Parking brake set. Wave bye-bye to our tug driver. So it's waiting for engine number 2 to stabilise itself. There we go. Engine mode selector back to normal. APU bleed will come off now. Not that it makes a blind bit of difference. Obviously anti-ice not required. And the trim value have to start the checklist. Anti-ice is off, ecam status checked, pitch trim is 30.4% set, rudder is 0. Right, I'll do a flight control check. Full left, full right, neutral. Full up, full down, neutral. Rudder, full right, full left, and neutral. Okay, looks like we're ready to go.
Here, Milan, French Post 210, Mike November, ready for push and start, stand 610.
French Post 27, Mike November, Malpensa, push and start approved, QNH 1019er.
Push and start approved, QNH 1019er, French Post 210, Mike November.
And Tower Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha is ready for taxi.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, taxi, holding point Charlie Alpha, and 35 right via Charlie.
Holding point Charlie Alpha via Charlie for 35 right. Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha. Okay, let's go. Now what? That was more of a hardware configuration issue, I think, there.
Beluga 379, set squawk.
Looks quite busy over there on the main apron, doesn't it? Lots of lights.
Sorry, 546, Beluga 379.
Was there a cat in the was there a cat in the flight deck?
123 requesting IFR clearance to Bilbao Airport.
Right. No change to our performance. QNH is 1019, still going to be flex 67. Engine out procedure is a right-hand turn at 8 miles from Malpensa.
6 Tango departure. Netted 6
The departure is Dog of 6 Tango, initial climb 6,000.
5417.
Can you
Brake
please
check.
repeat the transition?
All good.
The studio?
Before takeoff, checklist to the line. Flight controls checked, departure briefing is confirmed, flap setting config 1. FMA takeoff data 139 blue, 142 magenta, climb nav blue, 1FD2, 6000 blue, flex 67.
Now could do 6 Tango departure and the 6 in the transition, squawk 5417, initial climb 5000 feet, squawk 1, QNH 1019.
Transponder is set, ecam memo, takeoff, no blue, EFB stored.
Correct. Break, Beluga 379, thank you very much. Push and start approved, face north, QNH 1019er.
Does sound like there's a beluga on the on frequency, doesn't it?
Beluga 379.
It's quite neat. Don't think I've got model matching for it though. Yeah, so this Friday is a full day streaming celebrating 25,000 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you for helping to make that happen. And even better news than that, we have dozens of giveaways on Friday. So get yourself tuned in, and we'll be giving away loads of things: scenery, utilities, aircraft, you name it. So basically taxiing straight down here. Our departure frequency is going to be 12675. Have we got that on the standby? Yes, we do. So that's already taken care of. Oh, I need to go out and buy a new monitor. What do I get? Do I get a nice big one big single one, or do I stick with two or three? Decisions. I like the idea of one huge monitor. It's very immersive, particularly as my office there's no windows or anything, so the moment you close the door, turn the lights out, it's very immersive. I suppose I could have one brand new big monitor, and then the 24-inch that I am using at the moment, set that up in a bracket somewhere for all the other stuff.
Left via Tango Yankee uniform.
Taxi intersection Foxtrot 35 left via Tango Yankee and uniform French Post 37 Mike November.
Digital says 36-inch 4K, won't regret that. I know my eyes... I actually sit quite close to it though, that's the thing. Given my eyesight, I don't want to feel as though it's, too much. Matt says one giant curved monitor. I've never had any experience with a curved monitor. I don't know how I'd find that.
The QNH, please, I didn't know.
BDK, 4K projector. Yeah, definitely don't have the room for that.
101 Nera Beluga 379.
Ty says for streaming you have a second display. Yeah, it does, definitely. Yeah, Dark, you know how cramped this flight deck is. Disha says there's also deals on monitors on Amazon today and tomorrow for their Prime Day sale. Oh, don't tell me that. Oh, can you imagine the wife's face when the delivery man comes and there's a huge monitor in it? I'm sorry. Darker says the monitor will be playing the piano. Yeah. God, it's getting warm in here.
Post 27 Mike November, clear to cross runway 35 left. On the other side, Foxtrot Echo, right on Charlie, holding point Charlie Alpha 35 right, ready for departure.
It's a good job she doesn't watch this channel, isn't it?
Clear to cross runway 35 left and then taxi via Foxtrot Charlie for holding point Charlie Alpha 35.
Do you know, Matt, I was about to quote that exact phrase. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission. I'm guessing, I'm being very stereotypical here, but I'm guessing most of the people in this chat are male.
379, apologize, but we have to make the long way to the holding point Charlie Alpha via Yankee and Hotel.
Long way.
Okay, Charlie Alpha, holding point Charlie Alpha via Yankee and Hotel, Beluga 379.
Right, where's this runway gone? Well, it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, of course, in Florida. Wow. My idea of hell. Jamie, do I ever get bored of flying the Airbus over and over? Nah. Sunair on Twitch, good evening from Switzerland. Alpha Star, that's great to hear. Thank you for being a supporter of the channel. Manic, it could be 100 degrees here by the end of the week, so I've heard. Not looking forward to that. Tower Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha is ready to go, runway 35 right.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, runway 35 right, line up and clear for takeoff, wind 2105 knots.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 35 right, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha. Right, so strobes are on, all our other lights are on, packs and TCAS.
Cabin crew seat for takeoff, please.
Is that poor phraseology, HD? Why am I thinking about Tenerife? I'm turning into an American. Must be, I was going to say it'd be Digital's influence, but it's not because he's Canadian. Right, there we go. We're cleared for takeoff. Let's go. So, before takeoff checklist below the line, cabin is secured, engine mode selector is normal, TCAS TARA packs are off, anti-ice is off. Takeoff. Select chrono. 50% N1.
French post 27 Mike November, ready for departure.
French post 27 Mike November.
Set takeoff thrust, manifest, SAS runway.
Line up and wait, 35 right, French post 27 Mike November.
Just a reminder as well that it's quite a high thrust reduction altitude for this one. Past 100 knots, checked. B1, rotate. Nav.
Positive ready, climb, 0.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, radar contact, Milano 126.75. Bye.
12675, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, bye bye. Just get through the thrust reduction altitude, there we go. Thrust climb, climb. We'll get a pack on. Land departure Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, passing 2,900 for 6,000, Doha 6 Tango departure.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, Milano, radar contact, continue climb, flight level 200.
Continue climb, flight level 200 for Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha. Flap 0, spoils disarmed. Italy, of course, benefiting from a world update recently, so it really does look amazing. Just need someone to bring out some pay-west scenery for Milan. I think it's probably one of the biggest holes in the market at the moment. Okay, so 2 self-ruler moments. My range was set to 40 on takeoff, that's no good, and I really needed to pop the terrain display on. I mean, we've got it on early enough now, so that's okay, but could have been done much sooner, obviously. Go ahead and get the lights off, they're not serving any purpose now. We'll ding the cabin crew, so they can start prepping the drinks cart. Still not really any clouds in the sky, is there? Absolutely beautiful. And look at that moon. Departure behind us.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes e-cigarettes.
Okay, managed speed, levelling off. That's 10,000 feet. We actually pretty much passed 10,000 feet as we crossed the speed restriction, so that was quite neat.
Buonasera, French Post 27 Mike November passing 2,500 feet.
French 27 Hotel, correction, Mike November, Milano, radar contact, continue climb flight level 200.
Continue to climb flight level 200, French Post 27 Mike November.
Turn the seatbelt signs off. The departures around Milan, of course, because of the Alps, we have to essentially go in the wrong direction for a little bit, so we can gain altitude to get over them. Don't think the wing lights would be needed tonight for the purposes of looking for any ice, would it? But that looks decent. So HD, I think it's the predictive wind shear, is it not? He's good at this, Christian. He'll lead you one way, and then when you're not looking, turn around and whack you from behind with a ruler. How does the predictive wind shear work? Where's Chalty? Isn't it looking for rapid changes in wind conditions, scanning ahead of the aircraft? Oh look, a cloud. I was just saying there's no clouds. There's a very small one there. That's quite neat. Danny says it's a pretty complicated system. I'm going to agree with that. Dark Fury says Doppler radar detecting where there's Doppler shift in the precipitation ahead of the airplane. What if there's no precipitation?
At 3,600 feet on the shift.
Beluga 379er heavy, Milano radar contact, continue climb flight level 200.
Sorry, climb level?
200. 200.
Level 200, Beluga 379.
The plot thickens. John, hey John, how much would it be to have a setup like this?
You're leaving my space in OTC, available monitor, Unicorn 1228.
One moment. Over to Unicorn 122.8. Thanks for the service, Alpha 131 Whiskey Alpha, bye. So, flight level 340, let's continue our climb up. Thrust climb, open climb, 340 blue, off we go. So I would say you could safely have Microsoft Flight Simulator and everything like that running now. Do you know, I don't know what the cost of PCs are these days. It's changed so much since I bought the what I would call a medium spec one a couple of years ago. But I think that was about £800 a couple of years ago. Obviously, things will have changed. I'm almost certain of that. So HD, what does the range specifically show with respect to predictive wind shear, and what happens when it's not on the 10 to 20 range? Does it no longer show precipitation? No, it can show weather further out than 10-20 miles, can't it? Sure it can. This is all confusing the heck out of us, yeah. And you're sat there chilling with a drink, no doubt. Right, well, given that my Navigraph chart monitor keeps flunking out, let's pin some charts over here.
Bravo 434, riportate il finale della pista 36 di Linate.
India Bravo 434, può ripetere?
Riporterete il finale della pista 36 di Linate.
There we go, I don't want to listen to Italian for the next 20 minutes. Let me just grab the route. I've got visions of Christian like searching through documentation like mad. We've got Dark on Google, and we've got Danny looking through notes and books and things that he's got. What's dinging away? Oh, hello. NavIR2 fault. Okay, that's easy. We can do that one. So we want to move our attitude and heading, switch to the first officer. 3. There we go. That shouldn't have any effect on us. We've got another couple of systems to back that up. This has just taken our focus completely away from the Doppler radar. Fly, navigate, communicate. Well, this is the first time we've had a fault in the Fenix, which is quite nice. And HC is just going to talk us through what I should not have done. So the failure is the NavIR2 fault, so that would be shown up here. Yeah, there we go. And it is indeed showing that it's got a fault. So the what's that? The inertial reference system. So it's confirmed on the overhead, obviously alerted to us on the upper ECAM. Tell you what, I'm just going to pop that back there. That's as we were. So we've confirmed the failure, so we need to move our attitude heading switch to the to 0 or 3. Oh, we could just record. We could have just recalled it, could we? Instead, I just obviously moved the switch so we can fly. We just move forward a little bit so we can actually see what those say. So we've always got normal. We want to either move it to the FO side or the captain's side, because which one was it that failed? It was number 2, so it was the standby one that failed, wasn't it? So number 1 powers the captain's side, number 2 powers the first officer's side, number 3 is the backup, the standby. It's the standby that's failed, so instead of it being normal, we just want to select either the captain's or the first officer's. Oh, it is! Of course it is! My bad. Number 2 is the first officer's side. I'll tell you why I said that. It's because it is indeed 1, 2, 3, isn't it? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So, captain's side, FO side, standby. And that's why, I don't know if all airlines do this, but that's why we normally turn them on as number 1 first, number 2, and then number 3. So it's the left, the right, and then the middle, rather than just going straight across. I don't technically know what difference it makes if you just did them 1, 3, 2. I'm sure there is a reason somewhere, but what that reason is beyond me. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking it was 1, 3, and 2 because that's the order that they're in, but it's not. Hence why I thought it was this one. Oh, I don't think we need that tonight, do we? So now go ahead, cancel the master caution, and clear the failure. So we now have a couple of INOP systems. So Cat 3 Dual is INOP, so we could only do a Cat 3A landing as opposed to Cat 3B. So we're Cat 3 single only. We're fail passive if we had to do an auto land. Given the weather we've got over Europe at the moment, though, I don't think that's going to be an issue for us. Let me recall that failure. I love HD when he types in capital letters. So the ECAM is a nav IR2 fault. That's the ECAM. We've also got to be careful with this as well, because it's not the longest flight, this one, so we need to start looking at the approach as well. Can we recall the procedure? If we hit recall... No, hitting recall is not actually bringing anything back up. If we clear it, then recall, will that work? So the IR may be available in ATT if we shifted it over. So can you put the switching panel back to normal? Yeah, let's do that. Right, so there you can see everything. That is what it was when it first binged away. And here's me thinking this was a simple failure. So they are maybe available in ATT, so if we do, well, hang on, which one first? Do we move the fault switch, or do we move the, oh, I've just done that by mistake, but let me just check. There we go, so we've moved that to ATT. And now put the switch to F. Don't touch the overhead. Put that back. Oh, bing, bing, bing. Digital, yeah, I think that is also a problem. The chat delay is rather brutal for this. So, let's leave. This is everything as it was. We're not touching anything. So, the TAC heading switch is to be moved on the ECAM actions. And we'll just go down here. That's done. When's that failure management manual coming out, HD? I think I'm going to be buying my own biscuits again. Clear the system and move on. So that's now done. Obviously, go back to the systems. It just tells you basically the system status, doesn't it? So, as I said, we're Cat 3 single only, but it's not going to affect us because we've got good weather in Luxembourg. Restore the overhead if you can. So that's by moving this to the ATT position. Or did you mean restore it as in leave it back in nav? Fair enough. You'd not seen me put that back previously. Fair dues. Right. That's okay. It's just giving us the fault again, so we can go ahead and clear that. Okay, ECAM actions are completed. Let's have a look at this arrival. Oh, well, that was fun. Oh, that's a great question. Did the ECAM tell you to do anything on the overhead? Well, do you know what? Hang on, can I recall that? I would argue potentially yes. It may be available in ATT. Is that not a suggestion that it's something to attempt? Danny has a document that says after nav IR2 fault switch the ATT mode to FO and then try IR alignment in ATT. Okay. You'd need to read the ABNF com to check. Let me see. Right, well you do that, I'll brief the approach. Let's CRM. You look at the QRH, I'm looking at the approach. Where we come into here. XCOS and from there we're on the 2 Delta, so this is quite nice and straightforward. All of the speeds are already in. Let's just double check. In which case, we'll then have a look at how we're going to apply the approach. So there we have ECOS to 6-2, then 6 India, and what's our platform altitude? 3,000 feet. Platform altitude is 4.5. Oh, we've got ATC. Oh no! Right, bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna have to conk that monitor out because monitor's gone and I don't know who contacted me. 128.1. I need to get that monitor sorted. That's a bigger failure than the actual aircraft.
Direct Papa Oscar 621, Air France 22, Romeo.
Paris Control, good evening, Alpine 31, Whiskey Alpha Flight Level 340, inbound Gilead.
Alpine 31, Whiskey Alpha, Paris Bonsoir identified, route direct Giver, report ready for descent.
Continue direct Gilead and we'll report ready, Alpine 31, Whiskey Alpha.
Paris Control, good evening, Idara 158, checking in, flight level 775 and with you.
Idara 158, Paris Bonsoir identified, climb flight level 340.
Climb 340, Idara 158.
Okay, so I'm going to fly the approach. Let's see, this should be okay. So, the star comes in at Golf Tango Quebec 1 on Sierra. Comes by ECOS, or XCOS, sorry, and then from here, slowing down 220 knots, so going to be green dot by here, flaps 1 as we leave, getting down to platform altitude 3,000 feet, flaps 2 with the glide. Grab the weather for the destination. Have we got any VATSIM? No, we don't. 0508, Cabo K, 13 degrees, 1024. I just need to do this and then I'll get back onto the chat in a few minutes. So the weather, as we can see there, nothing to concern us. Let's go ahead and pop that in.
Soleil 3691, tournez à droite, cap 305.
Droite au 305, 3680, c'était bloqué et si possible on souhaiterait réduire la vitesse.
France Soleil 3681, réduisez 222.
0508.
On prend 222, France Soleil 3680, merci beaucoup.
With the good visibility, our DH is 1358. Sorry, DA 1358. Okay, so weather's good. So we know we've got the IR failure. That's not going to cause us any issues. I'll just go ahead and clear that as well. So we've dealt with that. No notes for the arrival. Threats for the arrival. A little bit of unfamiliarity. That's the main threat that I've got. We're unfamiliar with this airport, not being there before. But aside from that, reading from the charts, that looks straightforward. Plan to fly the approach, pretty straightforward, following all the speed constraints, etc. unless ATC give us any otherwise. I expect, and I want to be green dots by 6-2, flaps 1 as we leave, flaps 2 as we get down to platform altitude of 3,000 feet. Our runway is 45 meters, we've got the runway lights as well. Platform altitude is 3,000 feet. We've used auto brake low, and have a look for our
4,000 feet, free speed, top 65 to November, thank you.
Departure on the runway is going to be, or the taxi vacating, we'll look to vacate, that is a long runway, so we'll look at vacating at Delta 1 or Charlie at the latest. Once we've vacated, I expect a right turn if it's Delta, left turn if it's Charlie.
Air France 20 Romeo Juliet, descendez niveau 70.
Go around procedure, 3,000 feet.
Puis la descente niveau 7022.
And it will be a left turn. Actually, climb to 3,000 feet to 4.9 miles from Lux, and then a left turn to Delta India Kilo, climbing 4,000. Let's set the RadNav up for that.
France Soleil 3681, droite cap 020, autorise approcher les 06, rappelez établi.
Droite 020, autorisé ILS 06, on rappellera établi France Soleil 3680.
And 144. We have 3 tons of fuel on board when we get there, which is plenty for another go around if we need to.
Ryanair 4422, clear for the Panox 6 Eco transition, expect LS 08 right.
And we're about 40 miles from our top of descent.
Say again, Ryanair 4422.
Ryanair 4422, clear for the...
right, so just come back in the chat. So the status will pop up as well when we select flaps 1, so long as there's no change, we just clear it. FMA will only say Cat 3 single, of course, yet, so don't be worried about that. Nice.
Clear, Echo transition, and expect ILS 08 right, Ryanair.
So that is the first failure we've had. We didn't manage it too well. Thankfully it wasn't a major failure. We were certainly in danger of just rushing in and clearing the ECAM.
Air France 1424, Paris, bonsoir, identifying, clear for the PBAX 9 Echo arrival.
Chris, I haven't flown the fly-by-wire for a few days, so it was working then, last time. Yeah.
4000 pieds, éclairage 10-23, Air France.
Hey Chris Hogg, welcome on board. Jolty, hello.
On est établi complètement sur l'ILS de la 06 France Soleil 3680.
France Soleil 3681, vent.
Nick says get yourself a new large monitor on Prime Day and tell the wife it's from a new sponsor.
06 France Soleil 3680.
Ryanair 227 Juliet, Unicom 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
I think we've just self-debriefed our actions with the IR fault.
227 Juliet, Unicom 122 decimal 8, bye-bye. 122.84, Ryanair 227
Can,
Juliet. Thank you very much for your service. Goodbye.
Can you hear this? That is the sound of my own packet of biscuits. For those familiar with the channel will know the reference. Glenn says, grab a big TV, it's cheaper than a monitor. The only thing with that, I suppose it's not a bigger difference now, but do you remember the old plasma monitors? They would be useless, wouldn't they, for flight simulators? Everything would just burn in. God, it's getting warm in here. Alan, oh, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That is incredibly kind of you, Alan, particularly as you become a channel member as well tonight. So thank you so much for your support this evening, Alan. Really glad to have you on board. Dr. Magic, it's going to be around 8:45 Zulu time, we're hoping. Alan's just bought us some biscuits. Alan, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Crumpet, are they chocolate digestives? No. Keep guessing.
Flight level 100. You are clear for the Molba 6 Eco transition. Expect ALS 09 left.
HD, you'll supply the tea. You did that the other day, mate. It was lovely. Jam and toast, I expect nothing else.
100 and 1+6 Eco transition, ILS 09 left, have a seatbelt on protocol.
Andy, no, I'm not running Beta 10, no, we're on SU9. Crumpet, we've got chocolate digestives in our kitchen. They're not mine, they're the wife's. I daren't touch those. Ferraz, thank you so much for your kind super chat as well. Great to have you on board this evening, and generous of you to support the channel. Thank you so much, Ferraz. Really, really do appreciate your support. Just getting the charts that I need for this lined up as the monitor keeps bumping out on us. So what I want, 10-2 Charlie. 10-2 Kilo. And the ILS 11-1.
Patrice 25 Charlie November, you are 11 nautical miles behind Transavia 737, wind is calm, runway 06, continue approach.
And we have the traffic in sight, runway 06, clear to land.
Just in case the other monitor dies. Dark Fury super chatted £2, thank you Dark, for some hobnobs as well. Oh, the sugar rush. I'm going to need some insulin. A fig roll, is it a biscuit? I love fig rolls.
280 Paris, bonsoir, identified.
Right, let's request our descent.
Air France 22 Romeo Juliette, tournez à droite, cap 020, autorisé approcher LS, piste 06.
À droite, cap 020, autorisé ILS 0622, Romeo Juliette.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, request descent now, please.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, descent flight level 140.
Descent flight level 140, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha.
Steward 820, clear feedback.
First flight level descent 140 blue. Barry Bartson, oh, an incredibly generous €9.99 super chat. Are we giving biscuits? I'm Belgian. Bison probably is. Oh, Barry, for that, I feel like I should divert.
Affirme en attendant Tango 32 exceptionnellement François 3680.
Thank you so much, Barry. Well, thank you to everyone, Dark, Barry, Ferraz, and Alan, of course. New channel member tonight, Alan.
A20, clear PPAX 9 Echo arrival.
PPAX 9 Echo arrival, speed bear 820.
A20, correct. When ready, descent flight level 100.
When ready, descent flight level 100, speed bear 820. Paris control, good evening, Easy 2000 with you, flight level 380, sorry.
I see 2000, Paris bonsoir, squawk 5706.
5706 on the squawk, Easy 2000.
Let's ride, you don't have money because supply Vegemite on toast. Ugh. No. You can keep that. What is it they say about Marmite and stuff? You either love it or you hate it. I'm afraid I'm firmly in the hate camp. 1,000 feet above the profile, that's alright, we should catch that up.
Air France 49, novembre, 2 fois Paris, bonsoir monsieur, transpondeur 1000. Transpondeur 1000, Air France 49, novembre. Air France 22, Roméo Juliette, vous êtes numéro 2, à peine 10 nautiques derrière un Easyjet à 320, le vent est calme, poursuivez l'approche piste 06.
Numéro 2, et on poursuit l'approche piste 0622, Roméo Juliette.
So I've just put the 30 mile marker on there just because I like that as my for situational awareness. Given this kind of approach, it's usually not. Do you know what, actually, yeah. Given this kind of approach, it doesn't help too much. So I'm going to just go ahead and change that. I'm going to pop in there. I'm going to pop in there 12 miles instead.
Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, you are shortly leaving there. Stay Unicom 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
On to Unicom 122 decimal 8, thanks for the service, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, good night.
Good night, Air France 49, November.
Yeah, so I've just said that to 12 miles, which is about 4,000 feet on the approach. That's right, you can get roast pork if I prefer that. Do you know? No, I tell you what, this is something I do that I do hide from the wife off Amazon. I have a real weakness for pork crackling, pork scratchings, proper ones, not the crisp variety that they have. You can buy them by the kilogram box, and they just don't last long enough. Which tells you something about how fast I eat them. But yeah, love it. Dan says, if you buy sceneries on the marketplace, can you move them to your community folder on the hard drive and link them back up? Right, okay, Dan. That sounds like a question for my MOC Dark Fury, who will understand what you mean far more than I do. Look at those cabin temperatures, a balmy 22 degrees. J-Hog, you need a link emailing you for those. I'll send it you, mate. Let's try. Do you have pork crackling chips over there? Kind of. I wouldn't describe. I don't know what they are. They're not crisps, but they're also not the real thing. They're just like a really strong beef kind of thing. Honestly, if I can find some, I'll try and post a picture in the Discord. That's what our Discord server's for, right? Right, here we go. So we're now on our own. Let's get ourselves down to well, the fact that we're on our own, we can gauge our own descent. So let's go ahead and get ourselves down to 10,000 feet. and the plan will be to try and get a nice CDA all the way on to finals. Flight level 100. And his song, Pork Stratton's Food of the Gods, absolutely. Crumpet, now you've got me reminiscent of Monster Munch. Do you know what, Crumpet? The ones that I've had in the past, they're not too dissimilar to that, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I liked the pickled onion flavour as much as the beef flavour, particularly if it was very, very strong. Just keep an eye on our profile, because we are above it. Let's give it a bit of a helping hand, shall we? Let's go into selected speed. Go direct to the base turn. I mean, could do, couldn't we? How many miles away is that? That's 30 miles away, though. Which, 10,000 feet? I then would be very off profile. Oh, now, do you reckon any company would dare come out with a Peppa Pig flavoured crisp? Can you imagine? That is a golden idea. Peppa Pig flavoured crisps. God, my office is sweltering. My office is sweltering, but my GPU is at 50 degrees. God bless my MOC. AC, I don't use the pushback tool. I've heard people do have issues, I've heard people that don't have issues, so it's kind of try it and see, I think. Not Infinite says you don't really know what we're all talking about because we're American. So, I tell you what, Not Infinite, we're talking about pork rind. I believe that's what the Americans call it. Oh, Digital, don't you like prawn cocktail flavoured crisps? They're nice. Christian, what does Peppa Pig flavoured crisps taste like? Losing the LAN connection. Daddy Pig cookie flavoured crisps and chips. We've started something here. I can just see the Discord chat later on after the flight in the bar afterwards. Dangerous Brian says getting aircon installed next week. Do you know, Brian, that's the kind of thing that I'd love to have, and then you kind of think, I'm probably going to use it for 2 weeks out of the year. Mind you, if Greta's correct, then we might be using it for more than that. Alright, let's run the approach checklist. So, just so you know, it's just set VS 2,000 feet. We're looking at levelling off there on a base turn at our platform, leveling off at the platform altitude. In fact, we don't need to level off there exactly because the descent doesn't start till LX06F, which is actually is around here. There you can just see. So we can just perhaps reduce that a little bit. So the approach checklist, our arrival brief is confirmed, our seatbelt signs are on, minimums are 1358 set, engine mode selection is normal, EFB is stowed. Well, you can't live without AC in Florida for 300. Oh yeah, I mean obviously, if you live somewhere like that, then quite right too. You can't do without it at all.
The toilets are now available. Please contact a member of the cabin crew if you require assistance. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
A few clouds, like I forgot who it was earlier that said there's a bit of clouds over Luxembourg. Quiet HD. Subtle as a sledgehammer. We'll roll that speed back 250 once we're approaching 10,000 feet. This is what happens when I have a week off. Christ knows how the real guys did it after 18 months off. Let's get our landing lights on as we approach 10,000 feet. I'll roll that speed back to 50. Just watch how that affects our level off place. That looks fine, that looks good. So if you recall, I want to be green dot by here, flaps 1 as we leave, and then we're all set for flaps 2 as we approach the glide slope. HD says you held hands and prayed. We won't slow down at that, shall we? Thrust idle, descent 3000. Why is the level off arrow behind us? It's actually got us meeting the platform altitude exactly where we plan to intercept the glide slope, which is okay, but I've still got to slow down, so I'd like to bring that ahead. Let's start slowing ourselves down. So let's do green dot, keep that in managed descent, thrust idle descent. We're now activated the approach phase. Have we activated the approach phase? Yes? No? Christ. There we go. Can you land without reversers? Yes, yes you can. Spoilers, goodbye fairies, my apologies. No, we don't need those. India Lima Echo is identified, the glide slope is below us, let's keep those spoilers out, we need to get down. Flaps 1 as we make this turn, speed's checked, flaps 1. That little delay, well there was two delays really, wasn't there? The neglected to slow the aircraft down by levelling off so it could slow down, and the approach phase not been activated when I thought it was, has just left us a little bit high. Let's just keep an eye on that. Oh, actually, no, we're going to be okay. If we needed to, if it all went wrong, then we'll glide slope procedure from above, gear down, flaps 2, wind the VS down 2000, wind the altitude up. Here comes the glide slope.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing.
Oh, HD, don't say that.
Please ensure your cabin bag is safely stowed with your laptop inside. Your tray table must be stowed, armrest down, and window blind open.
Flaps
You now
2,
need to be
speeds
seated
checked,
with
flaps
your
2.
seatbelt fastened, ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish, newspapers, or magazines that you do not want to take with you. The toilets are no longer in service.
Brussels? Luxembourg traffic, Alpine 31 Whiskey Alpha, established runway 06, 9 miles. Why are we slowing down that slow? I don't want to slow down that slow. Let's wind that speed up, that'll help us get down as well. Alt glide slope and lock. There we go, glide slope captured, lock, cat 3 single, autopilot 1 and 2. Oh, that was messy. Speed brakes away. Little reminder on the systems page there. Does that look aligned to you? Gear down, spoilers, flaps 3, speeds checked, flaps 3. This isn't an offset ILS, is it? Didn't see that on the charts. No, I don't think it is. Flaps full, landing checklist. Cabin is secured, auto thrust speed, going on altitude 3000 set. ECAM MO landing, no blue. Of course, if the picture doesn't look right, do something about it. Right at the minute, localizer looks fine on the instruments, glide slope's good. Alright, autopilot R5 control. Just going to try and nurse her back onto that centre line. It didn't look quite correct. Just keep an eye on that. Those pappies also look to be not quite in the right place either. They look very, very close to the threshold.
500.
Stable. We'll just keep that picture now.
Minimum.
Continue.
$50, $40, $30, $20. Retard.
Spoilers deployed. Reverse green. Decel. That's our first exit point. 70 knots. Reverses off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls or internet access may now be used. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket, underneath the seat and in the overhead lockers. Do take care when opening the lockers in case anything falls out. Smoking is not permitted until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today. Our ground crew will help you complete your Easyjet journey. For the latest news, promotions, flight and destination information, check out our official Facebook page, Twitter or Easyjet app.
Christian, good night, sir. Glad you managed to stay up for the landing. We may have forgotten procedures, but at least we remembered how to land. Right, let's find a parking stand. I think we've got the entire airport to ourselves, actually, so that's quite nice. Shame on this page, you don't get the you don't get a little arrow to show you where you are for the taxiing, but never mind. So this is again another freeware airport from flightsim.to, which may explain why some things didn't look quite accurate on with the glide slot on the Plappies, but never mind. We had the picture and we solved that. So a quick look where we're headed here. So we've got stands either on the left or straight ahead. We'll take the stands on the left. I think they look quite nice. We'll have to use the stairs though. Sorry, passengers. Glad the monitor didn't go out whilst on approach. Well, actually it has, but that's the reason I set the charts up here on the EFB. And I've actually got an absolute backup. I've got my phone with the chat on next to us, so that's kind of how we're keeping up to date with that. Not the tidiest of approach, not completely unstable, but certainly could be better. We need to get back into the swing of things after a week off. There we go. Right, parking brakes are set. I'm going to shut down engines 1 and 2. Should put that bleed air on. But the coldest the passengers have been all evening. There we go. Bleed air has taken over. We can get the seatbelt signs off and just wait for that N1% to drop. Done. Beacon lights off. Let's go ahead and call our ground crew over so we can get the ground power on. And deboard indeed. So we need forward stairs, aft stairs, and the GPU is waiting for us. Fantastic. So let's get that connected up. Wonderful. So welcome to Luxembourg, a flight that wasn't without its moments, which quite nice. Something a little bit different. Always good to learn a lesson. We obviously had the not the convoluted, but the different kind of go around. Not go around, engine out procedure right at the start of the stream, didn't we? So nice to learn something, learn a new way of popping that in there into the secondary flight plan. We then had a a little failure to deal with. I say little because it wasn't really threatening to the flight. had we got absolutely dire rubbish weather here, well, that may have been interesting, but we could still have auto landed, so it would have had to have been really bad weather for it to have taken played a part. But yeah, there we go. Oh, enjoyed that. What was it you said, HD, right at the start when you asked where we were headed to and from? You went, oh yeah, great, simple flight, 2 easy airports. Is there such a thing? Thanks so much for everyone who has donated and contributed to the channel during the stream tonight, and of course welcome to our new members as well. To our Easyjet Simpilot channel members, thank you so much for your continued support. It's been great to be back after a week off. Don't forget, on Friday we have our full day of streaming celebrating 25,000 subscribers with loads of giveaways as well. That'll start at around 8:45 AM Zulu time. So 08:45 Zulu time, and it'll be going for about 6-7 hours, so we've got all day. Really looking forward to that. Thanks as always to HD for as always your assistance, your guidance, your beatings, all in a day's work. Thanks so much, everyone. Hope you're all doing well with the heat, and I'll look forward to seeing you all later and chatting with you on the Discord. Have a great evening. Good night.